The day I turned 54, I lost my reflection. Not in a mirror, I still had that, but in water. I was brushing my teeth, and I glanced down at the sink full of tap water, and my face wasn't there. Just the porcelain, just the drain. I leaned closer. Nothing. I waved my hand over the surface. The water rippled, but no face rippled back. I looked up at the mirror. My reflection was there, pale and confused, looking back at me. I looked down at the water again. Still nothing. I emptied the sink, refilled it. My face appeared for a second, then dissolved like a drop of ink in a glass of milk. I told myself it was a trick of the light. I told myself I was tired. I went to work. I'm a piano teacher. I spend my days in a small studio with big windows, and I tried to forget about it. But that afternoon, I was tuning a student's instrument when I noticed the strings were vibrating on their own. Not all of them, just the low C. The one that corresponds, in some part of my brain, to the number 54. C is the third letter of the alphabet. 54 divided by 3 is 18. 18 is the age I was when my mother died. The low C hummed, and then it started counting. Not a voice, a rhythm. 54 beats per minute, slow and steady, like a metronome that had learned to breathe. My name is Helen. I've been teaching piano for 30 years. I've heard every excuse, every fumbled chord, every teenage sigh, but I've never heard a piano count. I turned off the lights. The humming stopped. I turned them back on. The humming returned. I unplugged the instrument. It kept humming. I covered it with a blanket. The blanket vibrated. I canceled my remaining lessons. I went home. I poured a glass of water. My reflection was still gone from the surface, but I saw something else. A face. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, with dark hair and a white dress. She was looking up at me from the glass, her mouth moving, counting. I couldn't hear her, but I could read her lips. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. A pause. Then 54. She smiled. I threw the glass against the wall. It shattered. The water soaked into the carpet. The face was gone. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the dark, listening. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. No traffic, no neighbors, no hum of the refrigerator. Just my own heartbeat, which I realized was no longer 60 or 70 beats per minute. It was 54, exactly 54. I counted, 1 minute. 54 beats. I tried to slow it down. I tried to speed it up. My heart ignored me. It had found a new rhythm, and it was keeping time with something I couldn't see. The next morning, I went to the doctor. He ran tests. Everything was normal. You're 54, he said. Things change. Your heart rate can fluctuate. I didn't tell him about the water. I didn't tell him about the piano. I picked up my prescription and went home, but on the way, I passed a playground. Empty. The swings were moving though. No wind, no children. Just the swings, back and forth, in a rhythm I knew. 54 beats per minute. I stood there watching for a long time. Then I saw her. The little girl from the water. She was sitting on the top of the slide, her white dress glowing in the overcast light. She was counting on her fingers. When she got to 54, she pointed at me. 54 steps, she said. Her voice was clear, despite the distance. From the slide to the old well, I only made it to 53. I fell. I've been falling for 54 years. Please, help me stop. The swing stopped moving. The girl vanished. I ran to the slide. There was nothing there. But at the base of the slide, written in chalk on the asphalt, was the number 54. I went home. I opened my laptop. I searched for missing children in my area 54 years ago. It took me an hour. I found her. Her name was Margaret. She was 6 years old. She disappeared from a playground in 1970. The playground was the same one I just visited. The article said she was counting the steps to an old well that had been filled in years before. She got to 53 and vanished. They never found her body. I drove back to the playground that night. The moon was full. The swings were still. The slide was dark. But I saw something I hadn't noticed before. Behind the slide, hidden by overgrown bushes, was a circle of stones, a well. It had been capped with concrete, but the concrete was cracked. Vines had grown through the cracks, and from the cracks a sound. Counting. Soft, rhythmic, patient. I found a crowbar in my trunk. I pried up the concrete. It took an hour. My hands bled, my back ached, but I got it open. Below was darkness. Not the darkness of a shallow well, the darkness of a hole that went down forever. I could smell water, and flowers, and crayons. I climbed down. The stones were slick, the roots were thick. I counted as I descended. 1, 2, 3. The walls were close. 4, 5, 6. They were covered in drawings, stick figures, a slide, a well, a little girl with pigtails, and the number 54 over and over in every color, every stage of fading. 7, 8, 9. The air grew warm. The smell of flowers grew stronger. 10, 11, 12. I could see a light below, faint, golden, pulsing like a heartbeat. 13, 14, 15. The walls widened. The roots receded. 16, 17, 18. I reached a dirt floor. The well opened into a room, a small room, circular, with walls made of earth and stone. In the center of the room, sitting on a wooden stool, was the girl from the playground. White dress, dark hair, bare feet. She was holding a piece of chalk and drawing on the floor. Numbers, 54, in a circle around her. She looked up when I landed. Her eyes were dark, bottomless. She didn't smile, she didn't cry. She just stared at me and said, "You're 54, that's the number." 54 years old. 54 steps from the slide to the well. 54 years I've been waiting for someone who was born the same year I fell. I wasn't born the same year, I said. I was born in 1968, 2 years before. She tilted her head. You were born 2 years after, but you turned 54 today. The same day I fell, 54 years ago. The numbers crossed. You're the one. She stood up. The chalk fell to the ground and broke into pieces. I've been trying to climb out for 54 years, she said. But every time I get to step 53, the walls close in. The dirt falls. The roots wrap around my ankles. I can't reach the top. I can't say the last number. Not alone. What do you need me to do? Climb with me. Count with me. And when we get to 54, you say it first. Then I can say it. Then the well will open, and I can go home. Where's home? She pointed at the ceiling. Through the dirt and stone, I could see a light. Not sunlight, a different kind of light. Warm amber, the light of a kitchen on a winter evening. Up there, the house is gone. The playground is gone. But my mother is still there. She's been sitting at the kitchen table for 54 years. She's old now. She's forgotten my name, but she remembers the counting. She counts with me every night. I looked at the light. I thought about my own mother, who died when I was 18. I thought about the things we leave unfinished, the numbers we never say, the wells we never climb. I took the girl's hand. It was cold, so cold we climbed 1, 2, 3. The roots became handholds. The stones became steps. 4, 5, 6. The girl climbed beside me, her white dress brushing against the dirt. She was light, weightless almost, like climbing with a shadow. 7, 8, 8, 8, 9. The walls began to whisper. Voices, hundreds of them, counting along with us, the other children. The ones who had fallen down other wells, other stairs, other frozen ponds. They were climbing too, in their own darkness, hoping that if we reached 54, their numbers would be finished too. 10, 11, 12. The girl started to change. She grew heavier. Her hand grew larger. She was aging faster than before. 13, 14, 15. She was a teenager. Her white dress stretched into a gown. 16, 17, 18. She was a young woman, her dark hair falling loose. 19, 20, 21. She was my age, 54. Her face was lined, her eyes were tired, but her grip was firm. 22, 23, 24. She was older than me now. Gray hair, wrinkles. Her breath was a whisper. 25, 26, 27. We climbed faster. The light grew brighter. I could see the rim of the well, the moonlight, the branches of the old oak tree. 28, 20, 9:30. The girl was ancient, fragile. Her hand was a bird's bone in mine. 31, 32, 33. She started to cry. Silent tears that left tracks on her weathered cheeks. I'm so tired, she whispered. I've been falling for so long. 34, 35, 36. I pulled her up. I lifted her. I carried her the way you'd carry a child or a grandmother or a promise you couldn't break. 37, 38, 39. The rim was close. I could see grass. I could see the slide. I could see a woman, old and gray, sitting at a kitchen table that wasn't there. 40, 41, 42. The woman stood up. She reached out her arms. "Margaret," she called. "Margaret, come home. Your soup is getting cold." 43, 44, 45. The girl in my arms was light again. She was a child again. Her white dress was bright. Her pigtails were neat. Her eyes were full of tears, but she was smiling. 46, 47, 48. I reached the rim. I lifted her over the edge. She stood on the grass, blinking in the moonlight. The old woman ran to her. They embraced. They cried. They laughed. 49, 50, 51. The girl turned to look at me. "Say it," she said. "Say the last number, then I can stay." 52, 53. I opened my mouth. The number was there on my tongue, in my throat, rising like a flood. 54, I said. The well collapsed, not loudly. Just a soft rumble, a settling of dirt, a closing of stone. The girl and the old woman faded, not like ghosts, but like people walking into a warm light. The slid were still. The moon was bright. I drove home. I poured a glass of water. My reflection was back. I looked older, tired, but I was there. That was a month ago. I'm 54 now. I'll be 55 soon. I don't dream about Margaret anymore, but I dream about the other children. The ones who whispered from the walls. The ones who were counting along with us, hoping that our 54 would be their 54. It wasn't. They're still falling, still counting, still waiting for someone to climb down into their wells and say the last number. Last night, I found a key in my piano bench, brass old with a number stamped into the head. 55. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what door it opens. But I know that next year on my 55th birthday, I'm going to find out. Because the counting never stops, it just changes numbers. And somewhere, in a well or a basement or a frozen pond, another child is waiting. Another door is opening. Another number is rising in my throat like a hymn. I'm 54 years old. I have maybe 30 good years left, and I'm going to spend every one of them climbing down, not because I'm brave, because I'm a piano teacher. I know about rhythm. I know that every count has to end somewhere. And I know that there are so many children who have been waiting for someone to play the last note. Tonight, I'm going to put the new key on my nightstand. I'm going to sleep with the lights on. And at 3:54 a.m., I'm going to listen for a child's voice, for a whispered number, for the sound of a well opening in the dark. 1, 2, 3. I'm ready.